Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Zudi Pickups. In today's video, we'll be talking about the Defcon X Vans X London Bridge Trading Company Sk8 Comfy Cushes in the Mass Gray colorway. So these shoes came out May 1st of 2019 for a retail price of $148, and they're part of a larger release which consisted of another pair of shoes, a pair of old schools, and some pieces of apparel, which like some t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. But I think the highlight of the release were these Sk8 and I can definitely see why. So these shoes come to us as the most recent release in a long string of collaborations between Defcon and Vans. I feel like there's a little bit of explanation to be given here because not a lot of people really know too much about the whole Defcon Vans thing. I know the Defcon Vans have recently risen to popularity, especially in the tactical communities recently in the last year or two, but not a lot of people really know the history behind the Defcon Vans, or even what Defcon Group is, because there's not that much information. They're kind of shrouded in secrecy. So, I mean, it kind of goes all the way back to the inception of Vans Syndicate. And Vans Syndicate, for those of you guys that don't know, it was basically a division of Vans that dealt with exclusive collaborations and skate shop exclusives. So think of it as kind of like Vans's answer to the whole Nike SB dunk movement at the time in the mid 2000s. So Vans Syndicate launched in 2005, and some of the guys involved with Vans Syndicate, they kind of started their own group called the Defcon Group. And one of the guys, his name was Berto Lecti. He's a photographer involved with Supreme LA and Atiba Jefferson and all those guys, the FA crew and whatnot. I think he was really into the whole tactical military type community, and he wanted to bring some of those elements into Vans Syndicate. So him and the guys kind of created this group called Defcon Group within Vans Syndicate and started designing these military inspired Vans silhouettes. The first one came out actually in 2005, the skate mids and the 3 camos, and over time they just kept coming out with these banger shoes with all sorts of different cool camo colorways. So eventually they moved on to things like tiger stripe, chocolate chip camo, all the way to multicam and the more modern camouflages like AOR2 and whatnot. Eventually Defcon Group broke out of Vans Syndicate and became their own thing. And unfortunately in 2015 we saw Vans Syndicate kind of get disbanded and shelved. However, Defcon Group was still alive and kicking, and they still continue to make collaborations with Vans to this day. So that was definitely a lot of overhead and backstory, but I feel like it's definitely a cool story, and they do a great job of kind of melting the two things that I'm really passionate about, which is the whole skate and sneaker thing and the whole military tactical thing. So, these Defcon Van shoes, they hold a very near and dear place in my heart for me. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about these shoes right here, the Sk8 Comfy Cushes in the Mass Gray. So this shoe was designed to be a maritime shoe. Let's get that out of the way first. Basically what that means is it's a shoe that's meant to be worn in ocean environment operations. And all throughout the shoe, you can see all these little cool features that really reinforce that philosophy of use. So let's get to all those features. So I'm gonna start with the upper and move down to the midsole and outsole. That's how we're gonna do this. So starting with upper, as you can see, there are two main materials here. You have the Mass Gray nylon canvas, and then you got the Warrior suede done up in black. So the Mass Gray nylon canvas is London Bridge Trading Company's Mass Gray nylon canvas. And I keep saying mass gray, and mass gray is basically like the name of this color. The reason it's called mass gray is because it's the color of the maritime assault suit, MASS, that was developed for the SEAL teams, I think. It's basically this kind of like grayish olive color suit that the SEALs would wear when they were doing maritime operations, and it had to blend in to kind of like murky water, as well as when they got out of the water onto land, it still had to kind of blend in. So they developed this pretty unique kind of like grayish olive greenish colorway, and London Bridge Trading Company has been producing things like bags and plate carriers and stuff like that in that mass gray colorway ever since. I actually own one of their mass gray day packs as well, and you can see the color matches up pretty nicely here. So the mass gray nylon upper here is finished with some DWR coating, so the water does bead off, and you can see that there is kind of like a ballistic nylon Vans jazz stripe going through the lateral and medial sides as well. Moving to the suede upper is made out of warrior suede, meaning it is water resistant and flame retardant. It's basically the same suede material that you saw on the previous Defcon X Vans shoes. However, I do think it is a little bit thinner in this iteration of the shoe. Also, you can see that there are some holes on top of the toe box for ventilation on this variant of the Defcon Vans versus the older variant, which do not have any ventilation holes. These are supposed to be waterproof. So you can kind of see that theme continue here onto the tongue. The tongue is held in place by these two elastics on either side, but it is not gusseted like it was on the original Defcon Vans. So these shoes, like the philosophy of use for these shoes is that these are supposed to be somewhat waterproof. You should be able to wear these as like kind of like boots. These basically are meant to be worn while you're going in and out of water. So total waterproofing of the shoe is kind of pointless at that point, and I think that's why they chose to go with these design choices. It's better to get the water out of your shoe once the water is in there than to go with like half-ass waterproofing and have water be stuck inside your boots. Continuing on with that theme, you can see that there are two water holes here on the medial side of the shoe, so it helps the water escape. And you can see there are 3 holes here on the forefoot of the outsole and 2 holes on the heel of the outsole to also help water escape once water gets in there. And I think it's really important because once you get water inside your boot, you definitely need some egress points, or you're gonna get these waterlogged boots that are just gonna squelch everywhere, and your feet are gonna get super pruny, and if you have to walk long distances like that, you're gonna get blisters. It's definitely not gonna be pleasant. So these shoes were definitely made with that kind of water ingress and egress in mind. Some additional kind of detailing here, we can see that on the tongue, you have this large Velcro loop panel with the Defcon lightning bolt Velcro patch, which is removable. You can put whatever patch you want on there. Under that, you have a little Vans tab right here. And under that, there is some additional text. It says VBSS Go Plat. VBSS is Visit Board Search and Seizure, I believe, and Go Plat is gas oil platform. Maritime prototype shoe, authorized personnel, testing only. Man, that makes it sound super high speed, like I'm gonna wear these and like rappel down from a Seahawk and like raid a oil platform or something like that. But I assure you, I am not that high speed, but you know, I can still try to look cool. Moving on with some other detailing. On the medial side, you have the LBT lion logo, and on the lateral side, you have the American flag woven label right here. Finally, moving to the heel, you see that there is a rubberized pull tab at the top of the heel to kind of like help with putting the shoe on and off. I've noticed this actually helps a lot, and there's these little rubber nubs that help with grip, especially if your hands are wet. This can be a lifesaver. And also at the base of the heel, you have the Sk8 Defcon logo debossed right into the leather, which is super, super cool. Finally, we have the olive drab Vans off the wall bumper plate. right at the base of the heel. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers all the features on the upper. Actually, yeah, inside the shoe though, we can see that it does have a custom insole here. It does have the same print on there. VBSS GoPlat Maritime Prototype Shoe, authorized personnel testing only, pretty much like the same print that we saw on the tongue. You got Defcon logo, and then you got the Vans ComfyCush logo, and you can see the text is already kind of rubbing off on there because of the, I've actually worn it a couple of times now. But yeah, the insole is non-removable because it's part of the whole ComfyCush thing that Vans is doing. So that transitions us nicely into the midsole, the ComfyCush midsole. So the ComfyCush midsole is like one of Vans's newest proprietary midsole technologies, and I don't know exactly too much about it, but I do know it's like this new one-piece molded midsole that reduces weight, and it supposedly increases comfort. And as you can see, there is the illusion here that it is kind of like a vulcanized traditional Vans midsole with like the foxing tape and all that stuff. But this is kind of, like I just said, an illusion. It's just part of the mold. This is not actual foxing tape. And you can see there's no actual seam there for the foxing tape on the bottom. It's just this like giant one-piece midsole that's kind of shaped to look like a normal Vans shoe, and it's pretty soft. It has a lot of rebound, and when you wear it, it's actually pretty decently comfy. You can see here on the lateral side you have the Defcon lightning bolt, and flipping the shoe around to the outsole you have the regular Vans waffle sole done in this brown colorway, which is kind of different from your normal Defcon Vans, which has the reverse lug waffle sole. But here you have the regular waffle sole. And I think that's pretty much for having increased contact surface area, especially when you're walking around on like a wet deck of a ship or something like that, so you have a little more traction. So yeah, that pretty much sums up most of the shoe. Oh yeah, shoelaces. The shoe comes with these black shoelaces here, as I have here on the left side, but the black rope shoelaces that came with the shoe are not long enough, so I put on these aftermarket shoelaces, and I think they're much better, and they definitely look a little cooler, and they're a lot longer. So I recommend you guys do the same, especially if you have a bigger foot. Speaking of having a bigger foot, we need to talk about comfort and sizing. Unfortunately, this is the biggest problem of this shoe. The shoe fits incredibly small. I normally wear a size 13 in Vans, and I never really have a problem, but these ComfyCushes, this is not just the Defcon ComfyCushes. Any other ComfyCushes, I kind of feel the same way. They fit really small. Just as a comparison, let's compare these two shoes. So you can see here, I'm just gonna line them up so the heels are starting at the same place. You can see how much taller the regular Sk8 High Pros are. They're significantly larger, and you can even see how much wider they are compared to the ComfyCushes. So these are both size 13s, and there is a pretty big size difference. I'd say like a full size difference here. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't know why they made these so small, but they're really tight on my midfoot area because they're so narrow. And overall, it's like a really cramped fit. The comfort that is offered by the ComfyCush is mostly offset by the fact that it's like really crowded in there. I mean, I can still put them on and wear them around and all that stuff. It's not like painful or anything, but it's definitely not the most comfortable shoe to wear. So I would definitely recommend sizing up one full size if you guys are looking for these in the secondary market. Unfortunately for me, I can't do that because I'm a size 13 and the biggest size they made was a size 13. But if you guys have wider feet, this definitely needs to be sized up. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say about this shoe. I mean, even with the sizing problems, this shoe, like I said, holds a very special place in my heart. It's the perfect intersection of all the things I'm really passionate about, like sneakers, skating, military tactical stuff. I mean, it got everything. So yeah, here's to wishing that Defcon group and Vans can come up with some more high-speed shoes like this in the future. So I'm gonna throw these on feet so you guys can see what they look like. And once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.